Okay, we're back, but I'm going to need to check the settings real quick because I literally do not hear I don't hear anything. So we've got the default mic and let's see, integrated webcam. Let me test this connection real quick, and then we'll get right into this segment. Yes, I can see the mic. Yes, I got audio. Audio
Audio
input.
input.
Yes,
Yes,
I got
I
audio
got audio.
input. And connection speed, I should have plenty of. Yeah, I got firepower. And okay, let's go ahead and I'm gonna do I'll do the video. No, I don't need to check that. I can see that. Continue. Yeah, I see my feed. Okay, let's get right into this segment then. And I guess I got to join the studio again. Join in the meeting. Okay. And this particular segment, we had done it earlier, but um, I had to synchronize my computer. I was having a issue with my computer, but hopefully I allowed enough time to complete this reading, and let me um, upload it, and the first I'm going to mute everybody, and for this particular segment, okay, and no messages, but I still will upload this document so that you guys can have it. Okay. You can go to the Ripple site and get this document, if you want. Uh, Desktop. And it's Ripple's report on CBDCs. And I'll put it up while the future of CBDCs is the document. And let me open it up and we'll get started. Um, Disable all chat. Okay. Sorry for the delay. I had to, as I mentioned, I had some computer errors. Hopefully, they're not operator errors. Okay, Ripple's report the future of CBDCs. And this is sort of a precursor of the class that's coming up. You're welcome to get involved in the class. You'll need to shoot me an email and in order to enroll. But it's a beginner's class on cryptocurrency, and it's going to be taking place on the it'll be taking place on the 23rd at 6:30 p.m. And here's my email. If you want to participate, it is a free class. My email. And what we'll be covering is, and I'm sorry, I'm so, a little monotone, a little dry. I'm usually pretty funny, but the I've been, I've been missing a little sleep, whatnot, trying to prepare for this class. The class itself, though, is going to cover, um, it's going to cover a beginner level of cryptocurrency, as far as definitions, as far as it's going to cover wallets, going to cover exchanges, and it's going to cover some of the experiences that I've had, since I've been exposed to, since I started studying cryptocurrency. And also with the class, but one of the things that you're going to um, be able to receive is um, a couple of books that you can receive. Let's see if I've got any of these here that I can show you. Um, Let me see. I thought I could show you some of them. Hmm. Yeah, I can show you this one here. Yeah, let me. This is one of the books that you'll be able to receive is the 10 Secrets to Cryptocurrency, and you can get that free during the class. Another book. Let's see here that I'm making available to members of the class is let's see. I don't want to get too far off track because this is another book that I'm making free to the members of the class because the nature of cryptocurrency is about decentralization, but what they're going to do is they're going to brainwash the public again and think that cryptocurrency is still all about them controlling your finances, centralized financing, but decentralized is what it's about. And this is access foreign content because if you're taking this class and you're here in the US, you're going to have to somewhat grasp the concept that those um, that we consider to be government are actually foreign. They're foreign to you. And so you're going to, if you're going to manage your own estate, you'll need to learn how to get out of the 10 square mile jurisdiction. And this is going to help you access foreign content. You're going to have to become foreign to the system that's in place, so VPN will allow you. And the reason why is because it, on a on a true um, on a true level, cryptocurrency is global. So while they're right now trying to regulate it, they're not really regulating cryptocurrency. What they're regulating are people. They don't want to lose any people out of their basket. So this is how to access foreign jurisdictions and become a global entity in the way of your finances. Um, so let's get right into this lesson here. And what it is basically just the reading of Ripple's document on the future of CBDCs. Okay. And we're going to go with, um, let's get with the first page here. And you're not going to, I don't think I can make it large enough for you to be able to read here on the site, but you're more than welcome to download it. The link is there, and you can download it while you're here, and you can read it in the future. I'm reading this because, you know, I like to um, I like to digest information audibly, and so this is my private reading. You're welcome to listen in, but it's my private reading because this is how I learn. I listen to these tapes, of me reading in order to gain better understanding and better knowledge of what's going on. So anyway, uh let me see if I've opened this document already. Here it is right here. The future of CBDCs, why all central banks must take action. Okay. And as part of the remit of continuing to evolve money and payments, central banks around the world are beginning to explore, test, and implement some form of central bank digital currency, CBDCs. These There are a number of reasons for the growing momentum behind offering sovereign-backed versions of private cryptocurrencies. The rise of CBDCs, though the power of blockchain technology, through the power of technology, financial institutions are enabling seamless, instant global payments. Each central bank will also have its own motivations for pursuing a digital currency that will be driven by specific market challenges and opportunities. The nature of that market, the nature of that primary goal, whether it's overcoming limitations of existing payments infrastructure, promoting financial inclusion, boosting competition. Let me take some of the edge off of here. Okay, there we go. That should be much better. There. Okay. Boosting competition or fostering innovation will determine the approach and technology of each CBDC. It is likely that we will end up with a world of diverse CBDCs, which makes interoperability critical. Though most central banks are focused on solving domestic problems, the global nature of trade and finance means cross border coordination must be baked into the original recipe of each CBDC. The internet became the global tool for the exchange of information because the world agreed to build it using common standard. Likewise, CBDCs can adopt open payment protocols and use neutral bridge assets to facilitate a frictionless exchange of value across borders. Without this crucial interoperability, central banks will be putting limits on their CBDC's success while compromising the future of their financial system. Instead of developing a more effective and inclusive ev- evolution of money. Okay, the side notes, key findings. Trend for declining cash use has been accelerated by COVID-19 as more people shop online and opt for contact free payment options. One fourth of U.S. consumers use cash less often since the pandemic began. Facebook's announcement of plans to create its own digital coin prompted fears that it could undermine the traditional global financial system. 2.4 billion users is the potential global reach of Facebook backed currency. China's testing of digital yuan payment system potentially threatens the US dollar position as the dominant global reserve currency. February 2022 is the proposed launch date for China's CBDC. There's a growing need for a more effective way for governments to pay benefits or stimulus money directly to citizens, especially the unbanked. 1.7 billion number of unbanked adults across the world. This document raises a lot of different issues, and I'm not going to get into these issues at this time during this segment. Maybe later on, for those of you that's had a chance to listen to this segment, maybe what we'll do later on is I'll have an open discussion if people convey a want to do something like that, because there's tons of things to discuss, and we're just now starting this reading. Introduction to CBDC, Section 1. What is a central bank digital currency? A CBDC is the sovereign equivalent of a private cryptocurrency, of private cryptocurrencies and digital assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. It would be issued and controlled by a country's central bank and used by people and businesses for retail payments, much like cash, but in digital form. CBDCs will also be used for wholesale settlements in the interbank market. Just as a side note, though, what I will say is that for those that invest in XRP, they're investing in the undergirding, the undergirding of the system. It's revelation. This is a massive opportunity. Anyway, you'll need to do your own research. This is not financial advice. This is a reading. CBDCs in the future of fiat. Central banks Um, Central banks issuing their own digital currencies is a natural evolution of how we exchange value. But that does not mean that CBDC development should simply follow the old pathways. Our existing currencies were created in a much less globalized world and are not designed for efficient exchange. While most markets are exploring CBDCs that solve specific domestic challenges, each central bank also needs to implement a holistic strategy that enables their CBDCs to interact with the global market efficiently and ensure it can scale and evolve to meet future requirements. And side notes are: main benefits of CBDCs: enhance existing payment infrastructure, increase the speed and efficiency of payments while reducing costs and failure rates, promote financial inclusion, increase access to financial services for under and unbanked populations, and enhance direct person-to-person payments, encourage greater competition, reduce barriers to entry, and boost access to global markets throughout interoperability, foster innovation, used advanced digital features like smart contracts and programmable money that will be the basis of the new financial services. Maintain control, ensure central banks retain. Okay, here's where I'm not going to get into this, but ensure central banks retain sovereignty over monetary policy and not allow alternative currencies to dominate the market. On that note, what I'm going to do is because I need to make sure that my board is also hooked up. So on that note, I'm going to do a sound check on my board real quick. Okay. That's all I needed to do. I just needed to make the sound is going from my control board to the keyboard. And that's for future segments. I'm warming back up. Ensure central banks retain sovereignty over monetary policy and not allow alternative currencies to dominate the market. Boy, that's a Trojan horse there. And then there's a picture of the markets that they have already, that they've already opened. Let me turn to that page for you. The markets that Ripple have already went into. Okay, 80% of central banks are what does that say up there? 80% of central banks are actively exploring CBDCs. This map shows the subset of these countries. Okay. Let's go ahead and finish reading. Main barriers impeding CBDC success. Despite the many benefits of CBDCs, most central banks are understandably cautious about pursuing real world initiatives. Everything from how people pay bills and buy groceries to how businesses transact and governments are run depends upon a stable financial system. CBDC initiatives raise many challenges for central banks who must balance the desire for transformation with the need to maintain stability on a global scale. If CBDCs are cheaper, faster, more secure for users, we should explore it. It's if it's going to contribute to better monetary sovereignty, better autonomy, we should explore it. If it's going to facilitate cross-border payments, we should explore it. This is Christine Lagarde, president of the European Central Fund. And as a matter of fact, if you read one of the articles, she says that the banks that don't adapt to this, to digital currency, they're going to be devoured. They're going to be cannibalized, was the word that she used. They're literally going to be cannibalized. So, what's going on, folks, is that this is a tremendous transformation that we are in the eye of the storm that's taking place on the globe today. And so those that take time to prepare, become knowledgeable on what's happening, you can take advantage of this huge wealth transfer and create a generational advantage for you and your family. A generational advantage. I'm to give you an idea. I put some money on this coin, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and it was worth billions of dollars. I was, it was just a glitch, folks. Don't I ain't all that. It was a glitch, but some of these coins in moments explode. If you've been, if I know many of you that's listening to this segment are just now probably becoming aware of what's happening with cryptocurrency. This is for beginners. But if you take a look at a chart, a Bitcoin chart, and see what it's done since 2010. It came out at 6 cents. And the end of last year, the beginning of this year, was up over $60,000. Okay. That's $60, folks, if you've got 10 years to invest. But even if you don't, in about two to 4 years, it went from 6 cents to $900. That's millions of bucks. Okay, let's get back into this reading. And this is why, even though it's only a 2.3 or whatever it is trillion-dollar market, the rate of the growth and the volatility have gotten more people that got snap looking at it. Excuse me. The need for control versus desire for innovation. To continue reading, most existing digital assets are based on decentralized blockchains where every transaction is validated by a public network of hundreds, often thousands of validators. Central banks will not be willing to relinquish control to a completely distributed model. This is really heavy stuff, folks, that they're revealing. I mean, what they're not saying is really heavy stuff. It's very, very revealing what they're not saying. And central banks will not be willing to relinquish control to a completely distributed model as they need the ability to direct and influence the economies through currency management. You catch that? You know, if you ever get a chance to listen to Norman Dodd was a banking executive. And when he found out what was going on with the banking industry, you know, he made it his life mission to expose it. And one of the things that he said during the meeting, he says one of the executives told him that we're under executive order and our instructions are um, to create conflicting interest. We create conflicting interest. They're in the business of creating conflicting interest. I'll leave it at that. While a fully centralized model would provide the required control, central banks would miss out on the innovations like programmable money and smart contracts that blockchain technology enables. It would also reduce the ability of the private sector players to access and collaborate with CBDCs. In addition, central banks are typically focusing CBDCs approaches, solutions, and technologies on achieving specific domestic goals. However, many stakeholders interested in using CBDCs will have other needs as well as global requirements. Central banks do not enable the broad access, enhanced native functionality, and interoperability that will allow their currencies to be adaptive and scalable. They risk losing control of the infrastructure for global digitized services. So again, Christine Lagarde, what she said, if CBDCs are cheaper, faster, more secure for users, we should explore it. If it's going to contribute to better monetary sovereignty, better autonomy, we should explore it. If it's going to facilitate cross-border payments, we should explore it. Connecting across borders. The vast majority of CBDC initiatives are focused on domestic use cases, and in a 2019 BIS survey, and the BIS is the BIS is BIS is BIS is you know, let me, I knew that off the top of my head. I don't know, but it's not fair. Bank of International Settlements. They're taking it for granted. Everybody knows, but I'm the Bank of International Settlements, the BIS. Where was we at? According to the BIS survey, central banks rated cross-border payments as among their latest important considerations. This may be due to the fact that typically central banks are not part of cross-border payment flows and do not have the infrastructure to deal with related functions like transaction monitoring and know your customer KYC. You're starting to see more, and man, I just hate that I've got to deviate a little bit. You're starting to see more of this show up on the exchanges too, but they're still decentralized exchanges where you can just get on with your email. This may be due to the fact that typically centralized banks are not part of cross-border payment flows and do not have the infrastructure to deal with related functions like transaction monitoring and know your customer KYC. Anti-money laundering (AML) checks having its CBDC circulated in foreign jurisdictions will also impact a central bank's monetary policy and liquidity management. Yet, yet it is extremely short-sighted to overlook cross-border requirements because these requirements come with additional challenges. In our globalized world, consumers and businesses will inevitably have a need to transact with foreign suppliers and vendors. CBDCs that are interoperability with each other will give those countries a competitive advantage. much like how being part of a trading bloc benefits the member nations. It will take a lot of effort to harmonize the global frameworks and standards that will enable CBDCs to be successful. For cross-border payments, it's critical that central banks start working together to resolve these issues now rather than leaving a bigger problem to fix further down the road. Identities. While many private digital assets make a virtual out of anonymity, many private digital assets make anonymity a virtue, is what they're saying. But the ability to identify CBDC users will be a fundamental requirement for central banks. When the U.S. government was struggling to get much needed stimulus checks to the citizens and businesses during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, fintech advocates noted that a CBDC would have made it much faster and cheaper to pay people directly. However, it would have also required robust identity infrastructure to ensure that each payment was transferred to the right person. Boy, I tell you what, you guys, I'm just going to, I think I might just have to share some of this with, I just don't want to, why I'm saying that it'd be a good deal. Let's see here. All right, PPLE and Navy. Let's see here. This is back from I don't know if I can. Let me see if there's a way for me to share this here. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but I'm just trying to see if I can change the layout. And share the screen. Let me see if I can share a window. Here we go. This right here. I'm going to share this window here. U.S. Navy chip development will be made possible with Ripple. U.S. Navy hired a Danish tech company to help them develop a microchip that will be implantable with the help of Ripple blockchain technology. Many in the crypto sphere accused the Navy, the San Francisco-based company, of being centralized and also collaborating with banks. Now they have one more reason to stay away. They said stay away, but they mean stay away from Ripple and XRP. Let's read more about it following Ripple news. Anyway, the reason I wanted to share that screen with you folks is because the opportunity that is presented now, especially if you understand what God says about the end times, where no man to buy or sell except they have the mark, the beast, or the number of his name. It's and there's some other things that are going on right now that people need to be aware of. One of the things is that God said that this is a reoccurrence of that same type of deliverance from Egypt when God brought his elect out of Egypt. It could be compared to this. And it began with Joseph interpreting Pharaoh's dream and seeing what was coming and positioning himself so that him and his family was blessed. But, eventually they ended up in bondage. This is similar to what's taking place. If you can see what's happening, you can choose to actually, rather than having to take the mark, you and your family can be in a position where you can be owners of the mark, because that's where this is going. Um, let's get back to reading this here, and I'm gonna stop sharing the screen there, and let's get back to the document here so I can wrap this up. I don't know how much time I've got left. So identity is the issue, is where we left off. When the U.S. government was struggling to get much needed stimulus checks out, they it was the issue presented itself was getting the check to the right person. Many other benefits of CBDCs require identity certainty, and the ability to clearly connect users and transactions will be a key consideration, a key condition for central banks. Some private cryptocurrencies are already beginning to grapple with some of these issues, and central banks will need to build on their efforts to create interoperability ID solutions that work globally. By 2024, at least half of the world's population is expected to use digital wallets for transactions that will be valued more than 9 trillion annually. Section 3, bridging the gap in innovation. 3 keys to overcoming every CBDC challenge. 1, interoperability. For digital currency to have any utility to people and businesses, it needs to coexist and interact with other payment schemes in that domestic market. The next level of interoperability for CBDCs is the ability to work for global transactions. Without seamless cross border functionality, most CBDC projects will significantly underachieve their potential. Just as the global internet thrived in the early agreement on common protocols like TCP, IP, HTTP, and FTP, so too should central banks start coordinating on CBDC standards to cover basic functions, including transaction level operations such as escrow and hash time locks, identity and addressing schemes, flexible routing to determine most efficient ways of transmission. This will allow CBDCs to correct with other domestic services as well as each other, thereby enhancing their utility, lowering transaction costs, and reducing barriers for new market entrants, while allowing each central bank to retain sovereignty. For an even greater level of interoperability, central banks will need the ability to actually exchange. Boy, they sure know. It's like they know how to the right pull the right buttons to get the banks online with this. But at the same time, you guys got a chance to invest at this. Right now, XRP is running. I don't know what is XRP running right now. Is XRP? What is XRP running? Let's take a look. It just took a great big old took a dive just recently. Let's see here. The entire market dumped, as a matter of fact, and let's see here. We've got Bitcoin at 42. Everything's in the red. Ethereum is at 2903 is Ethereum, and the global crypto market cap is 1.88 trillion, 3.13% decrease over the last day. And Cardano is down, Binance is down, XRP, as soon as we finish this broadcast, I think I'm going to need to buy some more XRP. 91 cent. I think it's going to go probably down to about 87 cent, I think, before it spikes. And from what I've heard, is this run is probably going to go up to anywhere between between $6 and $20, anywhere between $6 and $20, and it's going to discourage a lot of people from holding on to it. But XRP, I think what they're going to do is they're going to settle XRP at I think they're going to settle XRP at about $589, $569 at the settlement. Especially, there's some other things going on. I don't know if you guys have been following, but the SEC brought this case against XRP, and it is totally, um, it's a total scam. It's a total scam to slow down this, slow down the monster that's eating them up. And so they've got to do something, because you can't control the global market. All you can do is control the people. You control the people in your jurisdiction is what they're wanting to do. So it's to get the news out to the people that you need to listen to what we have to say. Man, I got to get this segment done. Let's get back to this reading here. And okay. For interoperability, for a digital currency to have any ability to the people to have any utility to people and businesses, it needs to coexist and interact with other payment schemes in that domestic market. Okay, and we read that. Okay, for an even greater level of interoperability, central banks will need the ability to actually exchange assets between ledgers rather than issuing instructions via an API. The key will be for all central banks to enable cross-issuance of CBDCs on an interoperable ledger. Each individual CBDC can create its own rules and policies that best suit its domestic market. However, CBDCs should be united and guided by collective protocols that will enable them to cooperate seamlessly with other CBDCs and digital currencies. Such a network of networks will allow independent CBDCs to also operate as a unit and make cross-border value exchange faster, cheaper, and more reliable for businesses and consumers. It means pushing the idea of interoperability further than many central banks have yet considered. But without these shared standards, CBDCs will be as inefficient and expensive in a way to exchange value globally as existing fiat currencies. Every CBDC will need to have some basic level of interoperability built into it from day one. 2, public and private partnerships. The infrastructure supporting the existing financial system is vast and varied and not likely to be redundant anytime soon. CBDC technology cannot replace what we already have, which is why a layered architecture model where new systems are built on top of the existing infrastructure makes the most sense. A major benefit of layered architecture is that central banks can call a major benefit of layered architecture is that central banks can call on the expertise of private sector to implement CBDC infrastructure without compromising the integrity of the rest of its system. Many reputable private companies have developed successful digital currencies. Their technology and experience can help central banks get initiatives up and running faster and more efficiently than starting from scratch. A CBDC should be issued and managed using a private version of an existing decentralized ledger. While blockchain transactions are typically validated by many public validators, central banks could restrict this ability to a handful of trusted partners, such as commercial banks or the different members states or the different member states of cooperating unions like European Union or the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. This would give central banks the flexibility and functionality that comes with decentralized ledgers while retaining enough centralized control over their monetary policies and economic management. Three, neutral bridge currencies. While interoperability will support the direct exchange of CBDC in domestic transactions, many of the same old issues with cross border transactions will remain. In particular, supporting immediate real time foreign exchanges as opposed to the current 3 to 5 day process will likely require the need for pre funded currency accounts. Like any commercial bank or global business, central banks will want to avoid the increased cost and the risk associated with this familiar liquidity issue. They would also welcome the ability to free up capital that would be generating value, that could be generating value elsewhere, and skews the financial system in favor of the most liquid currencies. Typically, those of the most powerful nations. Mutual bridge asset can support healthy alternative liquidity markets that will allow for frictionless, and cost-effective value movement between various CBDCs in real time. It could also enable the exchange of less liquid CBDC pairs and increase the global competition by lowering entry barriers to new and smaller market participants. Enable a truly efficient global market, a bridge currency must be specifically optimized for payments and support the same speed, scalability, low cost, and security that CBDCs will provide. Is One example of a neutral bridge is the digital asset XRP, which can be used to bridge two different currencies quickly and efficiently. By underpinning an effective alternative liquid market, neutral bridge currencies are the final piece of the interoperability puzzle that will drive the success of CBDCs on a global will drive the success of CBDCs as a global tool for exchanging value. A healthy bridge asset can support healthy alternative liquid markets that will allow for frictionless and cost effective value movement between various CBDCs in real time. Closing. Time to define the future of money. The introduction of CBDCs will be one of the defining transformations in the history of money. Time to define the future 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 of money. The introduction of CBDCs will be one of the defining transformations in the history of money, in the global history of money. How the underlying technology is implemented and monetary policies are set. Monetary policies are set over the coming decade will determine whether sovereign backed digital assets open the door to enhance global trade and financial inclusion or maintain the siloed, inefficient, and inequitable status quo. Today, some central banks are moving faster than others when it comes to piloting programs and implementing initiatives. But the future success of CBDCs will require global consensus rather than relying on a few pioneers with their own agendas to lead the way. The world's central banks must come together to agree on common CBDC standards and protocols that will enable interoperability while also drawing on existing knowledge and infrastructure of the private sector to accelerate initiatives. CBDCs have enormous potential but must first overcome enormous challenges. Now is the time for central banks to explore these issues, develop common solutions, and ensure that the next evolution of money benefits more people and businesses and makes the world better. Okay. So Ripple provides one frictionless experience to send money globally using the power of blockchain technology. By joining Ripple's growing global network, financial institutions can process their customers' payments anywhere in the world instantly, reliability, and cost efficiently. And this is a really good article. This article was written back in 2020, and this is just my private reading. This is how I learn, is I read to myself and then I listen. So anyway, this is where we're at, folks. We're at the we're at the crux of a global transformation, a global economic transformation. I know you guys been watching the news. You've been watching this company over there, Evergreen, over in China, that's crashing. You've been seeing the markets crash. Of course, this crash, the market is to be expected. We expected it to crash, but this price right now on with the SEC and the lawsuit against Ripple and the price of XRP right now is a phenomenal opportunity. And I hope you do your own research and you um, actually load your bags full of XRP. The class is going to be on the 23rd, and it's going to be the 23rd at 6:30 p.m. Central Time, and you're all invited. And I hope you can get involved in it. I'll be using TalkShoe, so you'll catch me here on TalkShoe, and I think I've figured out how to stream here on TalkShoe. I'm going to get off of here now, and I'm going to listen to this and see if I've got some breaks in it, in this segment and so forth. See if it's clear sailing. Well, anyway, this Brother Green and Rivers in the Desert Ministry, and this is the audio lectionum broadcast, audio lectionum. And today, what we've been doing is we've been reading the about CBDCs written by Ripple. And remember, if you would like to, just contact me and you can get this book free, 10 Secrets to Cryptocurrency Profits. Just send me your email and I'll get you on it. And you can join the book club if you like. And then you can receive this book free. And this is access foreign content using free VPN providers. And if you're interested in marketing these books, let me know, and we can get you set up where you can market them as well. I can get you master resale rights on these books, and the for just a small fee. I'm thinking I'm going to. I'll give the book away free, but the master resale rights, if you want to make money off of it, I'll just I don't know, maybe $1 or something like that for the resale rights. I don't know. I'm not doing this to try to make money. You know, I've retired from the real estate industry and I've done real well. The I want to help God's people get free, is what I want to do. And this right here this book will help you to sort of comprehend the need to get out of the 10 square mile jurisdiction of the District of Columbia if you're here in the US. I know that since I've connected my VPN, and I'm getting news on a global level. I've gotten a lot of news that I wouldn't have received otherwise. Well, anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I'm gonna go and it's lunchtime around here. I'm going to go and grab me some lunch. Talk to you soon. You be blessed. You stay blessed. God loves you. I love you too. And we're going to go ahead and I'm still trying to figure out how to work these controls.